All right, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Yukishi, and this is the Anime of the Year 2025 edition. So, 2025 for anime has been okay, I'll say. Not bad, but not good-ish. But yeah, a lot of sequel seasons as per usual, and this time around, I'm actually going to be bringing up three anime movies that I got to watching. Though one of them, the way I watched them anyway, because of how the website worked, the movie was split up into different episodes, and it wasn't really focusing on the main character. But you'll see. So anyway, as per usual, I will be going over every single show and movie that I watched this year. So then that way, no one can complain of, oh, why isn't this here? Oh, you forgot this show. No, I didn't. I just haven't seen it yet. So anyway, let's move on to the brand new shows that released this year that I watched. Starting with Sakamoto Days, both parts. And next up, I Have a Crash at Work, which is a rom com, sort of. Emoku MD, Doctor Detective, which is basically Anime House, if you are at all familiar with House, the medical drama. The Red Ranger becomes an adventurer in another world. Listen, I like my tokusatsu, okay? I watched Lazarus as well. From Old Country Bumpkin to Master Swordsman, which I honestly thought was okay. My Hero Academia Vigilantes, the Shayunji Family Children, which I didn't know this, but apparently this is done by the same dude who wrote Rent a Girlfriend, and it's actually good? Huh. I'm the evil lord of an intergalactic empire. Of course I watch Isekai Slap, you kidding? I watched Uma Musume, Cinderella Grey, both parts. Mobile Suit Gundam, G-Quacks, or however you pronounce it, but I watched that. Gachiakuta, Secrets of the Silent Witch, The Water Magician. Dealing with the Mikadono sisters is a breeze. No, it's not. With you and the rain, my status as an assassin obviously exceeds the heroes, and my friend's little sister has it in for me. Now, for the sequel seasons that I watched this year. Starting with Solo Leveling Season 2, Blue Exorcist, The Blue Knight Saga, Cardfight Vanguard Divine's Deluxe Arc, Windbreaker Season 2, Go Go Loser Ranger Season 2, Bye Bye Earth Season 2, Dawn to Dawn Season 2, Kaiju Number 8 Season 2, Call of the Night Season 2, Spy X Family Season 3. Yes, I do say the X in Spy X Family. Otherwise, if you say Spy Family, the show sounds like it's a show about a family of spies, when it's not. But if you say Spy X Family, it sounds like a spy and his family, which is what the show is about. So yes, I do say the X because of that reason. Because if you don't say the X, then it sounds like a family of spies, and that's not what the show is about at all. My Hero Academia final season, and My Dress Up Darling season 2. Now, what were those anime movies that I mentioned that I watched? Well, Senpai is a boy, basically. Movie Sunshine After the Rain, and this was the one I was talking about in terms of. Oops. This was the one I was talking about in terms of it not focusing on the main character and instead focused on a different character. And I just now realized that I didn't pin the tabs. Oopsies. The Chainsaw Man movie, Rise Arc, and Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, the movie, Infinity Castle, Part 1, Akaza Returns. So I'm going to go over this one first, because it's only three. If I were to rate them, I would rate them like this. Chainsaw Man being number 1, Senpai is a Boy movie, number 2, and Demon Slayer as number 3. And there's only one reason why I'm rating Demon Slayer this, though. Yes, the animation is good. Well, two reasons. One, Flashback City. Holy shit. And I understand that. We should be seeing, how Akaza became a demon in the first place. But the main second reason why it's rated so low for me, I feel like this could have been a 10, maybe 11 episode anime instead of a movie. Especially with what, like, the focus of the movie, like, it's a 2.5 hour long movie. And it's advertised as the return of Akaza from the Mugen Train movie. But the beginning of the movie doesn't focus on Akaza at all. It focuses on two other characters instead. And it because of that reason, I feel like it should have been a seasonal anime instead of a movie. Because if you prioritized and wanted to focus on Akaza, go for it. But why was this made into a movie when you had to do the two other characters in their big important fights? Especially with the first fight that we see getting unresolved. I don't get it. And unfortunately, I was spoiled on a certain thing in this movie, but it was before this movie came out. It was because when searching for this character, their name came up and death or death scene or something. Because Google searching the character names is fucking dangerous. So I was pissed off about that. So, yeah. I thought this character was going to, be able to kill one of the higher tier demons, but also die as well. But, that's all I'll say. I thought that's where it was going to go for that character. And I am actively avoiding spoilers when talking about who this character is. If you know, you know. But please refrain from speaking about it in the comments, just in case people have not yet seen this movie. Anyway, Senpai is a boy. The way I watched it, I think it was split into 4 episodes, and it instead focused on Aoi here, Aoi Saki, instead of focusing on Makoto. And in general, it was just really cute and heartwarming because Aoi didn't really know what to do because she got to go visit her father, but she wanted to, stay around with her friends. But she was indecisive as hell. That and she, again, didn't know what to do. She was having trouble. So the movie focused on her instead of focusing on Makoto, which is fine. I really like the Reze arc movie. I do. Animation aside, because obviously it's top notch and top quality, I do see where people are coming from. However, isn't that the entire point of Denji's character? Or Denji's character? Yeah, Denji's character. Isn't that not the entire point? That he's a simple man with simple desires? If you have no clue what I'm talking about how him and Reze don't have any chemistry at all. But that's kind of the point, because Denji is simplistic. If a woman just smiles at him in his direction, he's gonna be like, humana, 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 humana. You know? So, yeah. But aside from that, the action was great. Reze was fucking awesome, and I adore her. Um, and the new character, what was his name? He's voiced by Tanjiro. Beam. He was a bro. He was really fucking cool. So, yeah. I think Reze Arc is definitely better than Infinity Castle Part 1. There is 2 more parts to Infinity Castle. Oh boy. But that's it for movies. So now let's go into my top 5, maybe 10 anime of this year. I might try to do top 5. I shall see. Okay, so it's going to be top 5, and I do have 2 honorable mentions. As you can see here, the first one is Gundam G-Quacks. Um, while simplistic, I did enjoy it, and I did enjoy the main character and her friend as well. Unfortunately, this is another Gundam series where it's entirely based on the original source material of the original Gundam, like the original. And it's not like, Iron-Blooded Orphans, where it's set in its own universe. At least I think, anyway. Um, I do like mecha, and as a mecha anime, it was good. And just as an anime in general, it was also good. My next one is With You in the Rain. This was just a slice of life, um, focusing on one character and, going about her day to day life. She's cute, she's adorable, and she adopted a little Tanaki who knows how to write and understands Japanese, which is surprising. Um, the first 6 episodes were really good, but then it kind of falls off a little bit, but it's still really solid. Um, yeah. Would recommend if you like slice of life, slow kind of shows. So, yeah, it's cute too. So, there's that. But anyway, starting with number 5, My Friend's Little Sister Has It In For Me. Now, this one's a weird one. So, if you read that title, you're going to think, oh, incest. No, it's My Friend's Little Sister Has It In For Me. As in, the main character's friend is has this little sister, Uzaki. So she's basically like the Uzaki slash Nagatoro character. And when the show isn't trying to be fully, when the show isn't focusing on being a romance anime, it's actually really good. And we do get a glimpse at how these two characters meet, the main character and this little sister character. And holy fuck, she was so much better before then. And now she's just, poking fun at the poor guy, which is unfortunate. But again, when it's not focusing on the romance aspect, which it has quite a lot of, as in it doesn't focus on the romance side of things a lot, which is a good thing in my opinion. It's a good show. Number 4, Gachi Yakuta. This show is surprising. It's a little bit generic, but that's fine. Just because something is generic doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. And this show is a little bit special because it's something that I've also had the thought of for like a while, where every object has its own soul, slash, every object has its own like personal feelings and whatnot. And it's because of that that these characters in the show give their, respective object power. And said item can transform into a weapon that they can use to fight trash beasts, basically. Very good show. Great animation and great art style. I just wish there was more. But yeah. Would highly, highly recommend watching this if you're at all a fan of action at all. Not only that, but the character's also really good too. Like, he's really good. Like, he's kind of a breath of fresh air for main protagonists as well, I'll say. Now, for number 3, because of course, the Red Ranger becomes an adventurer in another world. When you read that title, you think, oh, he's just gonna join a guild and he's just gonna go out on an adventure and just do random shit. No, actually, he's not. There's an overarching plot in this show, and it's awesome. Because it's not an episodic journey or adventure type show. It's got a connected plot line. And it's a massive love letter to Super Sentai fans and Tokusatsu fans in general. Because there's a handful of references to other Toku media in this, mostly Super Sentai. However, there is a common writer-like character in this show as well, and that's awesome. But yeah, the main character is great. The animation is good. Not gonna lie, I would 1,000,000% be okay with there being an actual 50 episode anime of this Red Ranger and his actual crew. Because that would be awesome as hell. I would 1,000,000% be down to watch something like that. Now, going into number 2, Uma Musume Cinderella Grey, both parts. Because, again, I'm going to be combining part 1 and part 2 as its own season 1. So, obviously I was going to check this out, because Uma Musume Pretty Derby, the gacha game, came out this year. But I didn't really want to watch the original show, so instead I picked Cinderella Grey. Ogre Cap, the main character here, is adorable. I love her. And this is shockingly almost one-to-one based on true events in real-life Japanese horse racing history, which is insane, especially down to the minute details of the characters' designs, which is just incredible to think about. But yeah, Cinderella Grey was shocking, but I definitely was rooting for Ogre in some cases, and was hoping she would win some of her races too. Very good show. Ogre herself is adorable as hell, and I would recommend this. Like, if you're on the fence about watching anything or doing anything Uma Musume related, I would strongly recommend Cinderella Grey. It's a good show. It has 2 parts, and that's it. There might be more because it is based off of a manga, and it does take place in the same world as the parent series, Uma Musume. But I was perfectly fine. I had a hunch that some things would be familiar, like the school, for instance. But that's all I'll say about that. But yeah, would strongly recommend Uma Musume. So now, before I get into number one, let's get into the sequel seasons. We have three honorable mentions this time, and it's going to start up with My Dress Up Darling Season 2. It's just more of the same, but with cute new characters that were introduced. Nothing really to say about this. It's just Gojo being, well, Gojo, and Marin being, well, Marin. So there's that. Don Don Season 2. Show is okay. Uh, it picks up right where it left off on Season 1, and Season 2 actually has a good cliffhanger ending. I'm not going to say what happens at it, I'm just going to say a thing happened. There was only one new character I wasn't fond of that got introduced, and of course it had to have been the last introduction as well, but that aside, this season was really good. I mean, for fuck's sake, it gave us Burning Soul, or whatever that song was called. Not only that, but it was a Back to the Future reference, which is fucking hilarious. If you don't know what Back to the Future is, either you're too young, or you didn't grow up in a household where you watched old-time movies, or movies from the 1980s, 1990s. And finally, Kaiju number 8, Season 2. More of the same, but with higher stakes included. Still, overall, really solid season, and overall, a really solid anime, just in general. So now, with those three out of the way, what's my top 5 sequel anime of the year? Well, let's start with Go Go Lose Your Ranger Season 2. This is also more of the same, but this time, the main character actually gets to join one of the Rangers teams as like a subordinate, and he joins Green Team, I think, if memory serves. And a lot of interesting stuff happens in this one, for sure. I'm 1,000,000% looking forward to more seasons. And just in general, this was a pleasant watch. I wish it had a higher rating, but I can understand why it doesn't. It's entirely Super Sentai, like, it's entirely for Super Sentai fans, at the very least. Next up, number 4 is Windbreaker Season 2. I actually watched Windbreaker Season 1 this year as well, but Season 2 came out this year. So I will be talking about Season 2. And what a good Season 2 it was. It picks up right where Season 1 left off, and it heavily focuses on one of the 4 Devas of the series, and said Deva is a wonderful character. That character is awesome. The main character is as cool as ever, the main cast is as good as ever, the action is as amazing as ever. Yeah, that's all there is really to say without spoiling much. Number 3, Call of the Night Season 2. I'm not going to say much. I am just going to say it is number 3 for one reason and one reason only. See this character right here with the brown hair? Yeah, she's the reason why this is up high. And if you know why, you know why. This was a really good Season 2. This felt more like a whole package rather than just a slice of life at night type of show. We got backstory for a couple of characters, and my god, what amazing backstory it was. And my god, what amazing characters are these guys. Anyway, number 2, Blue Exorcist, The Blue Knight Saga. This is entirely based on Rin's origins, how he became the Blue Exorcist, and it focuses heavily on his mother and everything surrounding her. And holy shit, was this really solid? Now, it has been years since I watched the original show and the original parts of this show as well, so my memory and my recollection is hazy on a lot of things, but in general, this was an amazing sequel season. Like, one of the better sequel seasons that came out this year, that I've watched at least. So, yeah. Now, you might be wondering, there's a lot missing. What's number 1? Well, my number 1 sequel anime of the year is Solo Leveling Season 2, Arise from the Shadow. I am not kidding you, okay? This is just solo leveling, but much better. Not only that, but holy shit, when he finally accomplishes his mission, what an amazing scene. It, it's rated that high purely for that. Like, if you don't know, the main character's main mission is to be a hunter so he can earn money for not only his sister, but to treat his mother. Because his mother has got caught with an illness that is because of this, because of these portals and dimensions and shit. So that was his entire reason for being a hunter and being a quote unquote player. Now, there's a ton still left that is unknown, and yes, the main character's main journey is over, but he's probably going to get another one relatively soon because of a thing that gets introduced in season 2. I'm not going to say what it is, and if you're a manhwa, I think it's called, if you're a manhwa reader, please don't say. And if you have seen the show as well, also don't say, because I want people to go into this blind. So, yeah. Solo leveling season 2 is just more of solo leveling, which is amazing, but Sung Jin Woo is a really good protagonist, and he deserves all the wins in the world. God, what a good sequel this was. This was amazing. Easily the best. So, what's number one in terms of anime of the year? Like, brand new original anime? Well, this may come as a shock to you all. It's My Hero Academia Vigilantes. Huh? Now, I don't know if I've actually talked about this on the channel or not, but I'm not that big of a fan of My Hero Academia. I think it's one of the, like, I wouldn't say worst, but I would just say not as good slash well written shonen series to date or in recent memory. And it's just full of nonsense in terms of they have way too many characters that they introduce for specific arcs that they don't ever bring back. The story is nonsense. My what is it called? My I don't know if this is the right word for it, but breaking point maybe? I don't know. But uh apologies for the spoiler, but the thing that pissed me off the most, I think, was the fact that One for All wasn't just one quirk for all people. It was if the person already has a quirk and they give their DNA to someone else, their quirk gets passed alongside the main quirk. And that defeats the entire purpose. Not only that, but I feel like there wasn't any kind of build up to it. And just in general, I thought it was kind of shallow to do, because that just makes Deku even more powerful than he already was. Not only that, but all of the other One for All users didn't have that kind of thing for them, which, sucks, but what can you do? So, yeah, I was just not impressed at all that happened. It defeats the entire purpose of the quirk, and I feel like the quirk should have had the stipulation that it can only be passed down to another quirkless. It would have been so much more interesting and engaging, but whatever. So, anyway, let's talk positive. My Hero Academia Vigilantes. Kind of a surprise, to say the least. Excuse me. Suffice to say, I like this show way more than the parent series. I do. Now, for those unaware, this is a prequel to My Hero Academia. So, Deku isn't a big focus, and instead focuses on these three characters. Specifically, these three. The thing that does piss me off about this prequel, though, is the main character is also a mega fan of All Might. But this kid is more along the lines of he just wants to do good and he wants to help people, and he just goes around town doing his best to help others that are having trouble of some kind. We get introduced to probably one of my favorite characters, Popstep, and then Knuckle Duster, or whatever his name is. Yeah, Knuckle Duster. I'm such a nerd for remembering that. Jesus Christ. But anyway, this was a really solid show, and we actually get to see some of the characters from the parent series in what they were like before the events of My Hero Academia actually happened. Namely, two very prominent characters. So I'm not going to say much on that. But anyway, very good show. If you're a fan of My Hero Academia, please watch this show. Uh, when did it originally? Because it is based off the manga, obviously. When was it first written? 2016. And it ended in 2022. Holy shit. Well then. So, yeah. My Hero Academia Vigilantes is my anime of the year. Like, a new original anime that came out this year. Very good show, very good animation, very good characters, and it's more condensed with its characters, which I really like. Now, obviously, it could have the same problem as My Hero Academia, where it just introduces one too many characters that are just insignificant to the plot and don't get their own time to shine more than once. That's a problem with a lot of shonen, but only a handful of shonen have actually managed to get that formula correct. Fairy Tail, Black Clover. I'm sorry, I'm clearing my throat. But anyway, yeah, that is my anime 2025 of the year of not only new original show, but sequel season and movies as well. Didn't watch a whole lot of movies, but that's because a lot of them are based on already existing properties that I have not yet seen, or the movie in question is kind of just filler nonsense that I don't really give a shit about. So, yeah. I think with that, I'll end things here for now. Here's to 2026, and hopefully with some good anime this year or next year, and some good anime season or sequel seasons. I'm looking at you, One Punch Man season 3. Jesus fucking Christ, what a fall from grace. Now, granted, it's not entirely the fault of the team. It's, the people pushing and not giving these guys enough time. But anyway, I've been Ryuu Kishi, and I'll see you next time.